President of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, reaffirmed he is not subject to any foreign power, neither to internal nor external powers. In Brazil, the former head for intelligence service during the presidency of Jair Bolsonaro, Alexander Ramadan, testified about alleged illegal spying on high-ranking politicians and other personalities. On Wednesday, Andre Chazin was elected as the candidate representing the left wing for the presidency of the parliament after intense negotiations of the left-wing coalition for a new Popular Front. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We'll be with the news. Stay with us. The President of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, before the mobilization of the people of Carora in the state of Lara, confirmed this Wednesday that he is not subject to any foreign powers, neither to an internal nor external power, stressing that he only obeys the sovereign people. The dignitary specifies that he is a facilitator of the popular consciousness and declared his desire for Venezuela to continue being a free country. He stressed that there are many things to be done for the future. He has wills Sonoran Minister Angel Prado, and the head of the Office of the Presidency, Aníbal Coronado, together with a commission of communal spokesmen to carry out a diagnosis of Dr. Pastor Oropesa Hospital in Carora in order to proceed to its immediate recovery. Far-right opposition in Venezuela is increasingly using hate speech during the country's current presidential campaign. However, this narrative is pushing a growing number of opposition leaders to support President Nicolás Maduro's candidacy, especially in Venezuela. Brian Mir with the details.
Taking a cue from its international allies like Donald Trump and Javier Milei, the far-right Venezuelan opposition is increasingly using hate speech to divide the population and build the old fascist narrative of an internal enemy. This trend reached a new low this week when a white opposition journalist referred to Nicolás Maduro's female supporters as monkeys, but it's beginning to alienate many of its traditional center-right allies.
Ver cómo algunas de esas personas han
Some of these people have started using hate speech to sow divisions, and above all, whenever someone speaks independently, they try to defame them through divisive language and lies that are totally divorced from the reality of Venezuela.
Starting on Saturday, when former Juan Guaidó allied Congressman Carlos Prosperi announced that, fed up with the polarizing rhetoric, he is now going to support Nicolás Maduro, more and more independent opposition politicians have pledged their support, including 8 leaders who met with the Venezuelan president on Tuesday to hash out their differences and plan how they can work together to fight social problems.
The same one who asked for sanctions. The same one who is planning acts of violence on election day to claim fraud. Do you want the guarimbas to come back to Ciudad Bolivar? Do you want hatred, intolerance, and division? Or do you want love, tolerance, and peace to prevail?
Venezuela's presidential elections are marked for July 28th. Brian Mir, teleSUR, Caracas.
On Wednesday, the Caribbean islands economy remains unchanged during the first half of 2024, despite the United States' actions against the country's main partners. During this speech at the Cuban National Assembly, Marrero Cruz detailed that measures were applied against companies, market suppliers of Cuban imports, and also again, however, shows interest in investing in the Caribbean nation. On the other hand, the Prime Minister said that the Cuban government is working on the implementation of measures to create the internal economic distortion and to boost the national economy. Group in the Inter-Ethnic Association for the Development of the Peruvian Rainforest, IDESEP, as well as autonomous territorial governments, declared themselves in a permanent state of emergency due to the government's indolence after the murder of Mariano Isacama Feliciano, leader of the Cacataibo people. Isacama Feliciano was found dead on Sunday following his disappearance on the night of June the 21st after a reported threat against him. The crops shows that the 35-year-old native leader died of arm wounded. IDESEP declared that 35 Aboriginal leaders have already been assassinated for defending the Amazon and that changes are urgently needed to stop the crimes and threats against indigenous defenders. Besides, justice has not been achieved for the victims and the perpetrators of the crimes remain unpunished. The President of Argentina, Javier Milei, received on Wednesday his Uruguayan counterpart, Luis Lacalle Pou, at the Casa Rosada, seat of government in Buenos Aires. The meeting had an open agenda, executive sources inform La Nación. The meeting happened under good climate, although there was no official communique about the meeting. The office of President Milei only published a photograph of both presidents in the social network X without detail about the topics discussed. In Brazil, the head of intelligence service during Jair Bolsonaro's presidency, Alexandre Ramadan, appeared before police on Wednesday to testify as part of an investigation into alleged illegal spying on senior political figures and other personalities. Investigators suspect that during the term of office of the former far-right president, a criminal organization was formed within the Brazilian intelligence agency to monitor important political figures, judges of the Federal Supreme Court, and even journalists. However, the former intelligence chief defends his innocence. In a publication last week on the social network X, he criticized the investigation, which he considered was aimed at bringing to the press superficial conclusions and conjectures. Also in Brazil, the government authorized on Wednesday the dispatch of national forces against agents following the worsening of the conflict between the Guarani, the Cayov ethnic group, and the rural landowners in the state of Mato Grosso do Sul. The Minister of Justice and Public Security, Ricardo Lewandowski, said that it will be destined for the border region and the indigenous villages located in the southern cone region of the state of Mato Grosso do Sul. He also emphasized that it is aimed at the preservation of public order and the integrity of people and patrimony. Let's take a very first break, but remember, you can now join us on our TikTok account as teleSUR English, where you'll be able to see news in different formats, news updates, and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. In Brazil, several tons of fish have died in one of Sao Paulo's state main rivers after an alleged illegal dumping of industrial waste from a sugar and ethanol plant, according to the environmental authorities. Sao Paulo Prosecutor's Office declared in a press release that a preliminary analysis estimates that between 10 and 20 tons of fish died in the Paraquibaya River. The initial investigation points to an irregular discharge of wastewater from the stevia plant in San Jose in the community of Rio das Pedras and reach a stream that follows into the Paraquibaya River. The situation has caused concern among local fishermen who depend on this activity for their livelihood. On Wednesday, Andres Chussin was highlighted as a candidate representing the left wing for the presidency of the parliament after intense negotiations of the left-wing coalition in the new Popular Front in order to choose a common candidate. Chussin declared the local media that he will be faithful to the values of the four group that form the new Popular Front, which won the June 30 legislative elections and the July 7 runoff elections. Chussin, deputy since 2002, represents France amongst the Socialist Party, the Ecologists, and the French Communist Party, and claimed to have the collective legitimacy to proceed over the assembly. Moving on, the Israeli parliament approved on Thursday a draft resolution rejecting the creation of a Palestinian state in Gaza and the West Bank as advocated by the international community and several UN Security Council resolutions. Sanctioned this morning with the support of 68 of 120 votes of the plenary. The initiative affirms that a Palestinian state will be a danger for Israel and will perpetuate the conflict in the region, a vision that the world rejects. The proposal was supported by the secular and the religious right, both in power and in opposition. The Palestinian Resistance Movement and Hamas rejected on Wednesday the claims made in a report by the Human Rights Watch organization related to the actions of October 7, 2023. In a statement, Hamas called on the organization to withdraw the report and issue an apology as a result of this base and neglect from paid endured by the Palestinian people at the hands of the occupation. Hamas said that Human Rights Watch brushes off the over 120,000 kilometers in Palestine and kills my partner in Palestine today by Israel and accused it of failing to mention the mass destruction of infrastructure. The Commissioner General of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugee UNRWA, Philippe Lazzarini, announced on Wednesday that in the last 10 days, the Israeli occupation has hit at least 8 schools in the Gaza Strip, including 6 institutions of that organization. In a post on his official X account, Lazzarini written that the event happens daily and the last 8 schools were hit in the last 10 days, including 6 UNRWA schools. The commissioner of UNRWA was of the view that the world robbed the children of Gaza of their childhood and their education. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant declared on Wednesday before a brigade of reservists in the north of the country that Israeli forces can launch an offensive in Lebanon against Hezbollah at a moment's notice. Gallant assured that Israel is an enemy war in the northern region, but he points out that things can change in a second from a major effort in the south to a major effort in the north, and it will be swift, surprise, and very sharp. Gallant stressed that the region has nothing to do with what is happening in the south, and that if Hezbollah wants to reach an agreement with Israel, it must withdraw from the borderline to the land beyond the Latin River, as the UN resolution stipulates. Let's take our last break, but before we invite you to join us on our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience, you can scan the QR code on the screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Because the news coverage of Latin America and the Caribbean, as well as the rest of the world. Let's stay connected and informed with teleSUR. We'll find a short break. Don't go away. Welcome back. Japan is hosting a summit on Thursday with leaders from more than 1,000 Pacific Islands nations seeking to deepen cooperation and increase support for a rules-based free and open Indo-Pacific aimed China's growing influence in the region. The Pacific Islands Leaders Meeting, or PAM, launched under Japanese initiative in 1997, has become Japan's key diplomatic tool to return China's security and economic influence in the region by strengthening its ties with the Pacific Islands for members, stressing its willingness to stand by them and maintaining unity. In his opening remark, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said he hopes to elevate Japan's ties with the Pacific Islands to a higher stage and renew its commitment to work together towards the future. And in a southern province of China, a fire that broke out on Wednesday night local time left 16 people dead. The cause of the fire, which was completely extinguished early on Thursday morning, was an accident caused by construction work that were being carried out in the area. Local fire and rescue teams dispatched 70 vehicles and 284 personnel to extinguish the flames and carried out rescue work. Moreover, the Ministry of Emergency Management and the National Fire Rescue Bureau sent a task force to the scene and announced the recruitment of experts from all over the country to participate in the investigation of the incident. And now changing topics. With just over a week to go until the opening of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, the different delegations began to arrive at their respective buildings and hand their national emblems on the side. After the inauguration of the Paris Olympic Village on Thursday, as the athletes arrive, the building will hold a total of 14,000 people, which is the maximum capacity for the delegations competing for the Olympic glory. Paris 2024 will commence on July the 26th, and for the first time in history, the opening ceremony will not be held inside a stadium. It will be in a Seine River instead. For 17 days, the French capital will watch as the world's athletes compete in freestyle Olympic sports. And we move to culture. A model of the pyramid of Kukulkan located in Chichen Itza, Yucatan, was built in the Zocalo of Mexico City, where a show of light, sound, and dance with three-dimensional projection on the structure is offered. Antonio Aranda, our correspondent, was present at one of the performances. There are the details.
The afternoon ends and hundreds of people arrive at the Plaza de la Constitución looking for the best place to watch the show that was set up for the 100th anniversary of the death of the social fighter Felipe Carrillo Puerto.
Nuestra cultura, además que es una gran
It's
oportunidad.
our culture. It is a great opportunity for the youth and all of us who are involved in social networks all the time to find an opportunity for culture.
Hay familias que no se pueden
There are families who cannot get close to the pyramid in their place of origin, and here it practically helps us to see everything that is the culture within Mexico City as well. Felipe Carrillo Puerto was a revolutionary who fought against the poverty and slavery of the indigenous Mayas.
Reivindica la cultura maya y a la vez restablece.
It vindicates the Mayan culture and at the same time restores the possession of the land to its original owners. And in addition to distributing land, it promotes public education, the Mayan language, all traditions that come from the southeast. Night falls and the pyramid of Kukulkan is illuminated to tell the story of the origin of the universe from the Mayan cosmovision. The show is free of charge, and in addition to the video projections on the 15-meter high structure, a group of dancers complete the show. The visual tour of the Mayan civilization, the myths of the Popol Vuh, and the life of Felipe Carrillo Puerto lasts half an hour. People are fascinated. I'm still very excited, and knowing how we have been oppressed for years and how we have rebelled, it's important to know where we stand.
Something I see in this government is that it makes me like history again. The Mayan culture. I have had the opportunity to visit some Mayan archaeological sites, and this reactivates my curiosity for our roots.
The Kukulkan Pyramid show is part of the capital's left-wing government's commitment to exercise the right to culture. The functions of this homage to the Mayan culture and the socialist revolutionary Felipe Carrillo Puerto will be concluded next Sunday. By then, more than 300,000 people will have enjoyed it. Antonio Aranda, TeleSUR, Mexico City.
And with that story, we have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, on X, and on Instagram as well. For TeleSUR English and from the South, I'm Ana Marrero. Thank you for watching.